Yo, 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 what it do, how it go? It's the internet's favorite fake uncle coming at you live and direct from my, from this morning's commute at least. So I wanted to rap with y'all real quick. I know I'm a little, first of all, I wanted to address something. I wanted to address a comment from the Peanut Gallery real quick. I do not have one fit, you know what I mean? I actually have two. All right, smart nigga. I have this and I have the jean jacket on. You know what I mean? But it is no longer jean jacket weather in my part of the country, or at least I guess I could get away with it if I wanted to, but you know. What did I say in the other video is that I have made dressing bummy into an art form, dog. And part of that means you know, wearing the same 2-3 hoodies, you know, and just cycling through them constantly. So yeah, there you had it. But anyway, I digress. Same hoodies and same zip ups. I wanted to rap with y'all. I know I'm a little late to the game, but part of the reason why, because I really wanted to kind of get my thoughts in a coherent place in regards to this thing. So the boy Mamdani, Zohran Mamdani, you know what I mean, the internet's favorite politician for the moment, and that's also something that I wanted to get off today, is that, like I said listen, I'm not going to do the I told you so thing, because I don't think that we're at that point. You know what I'm saying? But like I said in the past, you feel me? This is the problem. This is the danger of putting all of your eggs into the electoralism basket. You dig what I'm saying? Is that, again, my first real job out of college was working as a legislative aide. Effectively, I was the chief of staff, because the chief of staff wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I know game, you feel me? And that's what I be trying to put y'all up on, is that this is just the nature of the beast. You dig what I'm saying? I don't got no problem with, you know, Mamdani backtracking on a few things, or maybe not, you know, being as radical as some of y'all tried to make him out to be, because that's just the nature of electoral politics. At the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do in order to curry favor with the right allies. You feel me? With the right enemies even. At the end of the day, and this is what got me into politics in college, is that at the end of the day, politics is the study of, if you ask me, politics is the study of power. There's a study of two things. It's the study of power and the study of people, and of how people use and manipulate both power and people to acquire one or the other. You know what I mean? People manipulate power in order to get people to do what they want them to do, and people manipulate people in order to attain the power that they need to manipulate even more people. You dig what I'm saying? And I know that word manipulate has negative connotations to it, but no, that's just what it is. It's all just one bit. Basically, what politics is one big game of chess, where the pawns are living, breathing people. You know what I mean? All of the pieces, pawns, bishops, rooks, all of them. You dig what I'm saying? But I digress. You know, really what I wanted to talk about was, I wanted to talk about this meeting between Zohran and our illustrious idiot in chief, Donald Doofus. And, you know, the response that I see from a lot of people, and I've had conversations with people about this ever since then, and a lot of the conversations I have had, people have kind of clocked the same thing that I have. That is the most disturbing aspect of all of this. Has nothing to do with either one of Mamdani or Trump themselves, but the response around one or both of them. So one thing here, so first of all, let me say this about Trump, right? One thing you got to give Trump, and this is going back to the 80s, really. One thing about Trump is that Trump has failed at everything else in his life. But you got to give it to the man as far really what he should have done. Trump, if he really wanted to be the success story that he tries to, talk us into believing that he is, he shouldn't have did real estate. You feel me? Trump don't got the acumen to be in the real estate like that, right? What Trump should have done was he should have gotten into marketing. You feel me? He should have gotten into advert. He should have been what's the old boy from Mad Men? Don Draper. That's who and what Trump should have been. You dig what I'm saying? And it reflects in his politics. You dig what I'm saying? Trump, and a lot of y'all going to get upset with me about this, but listen to the whole take before you start, pissing and moaning in the comments. Trump is not unlike Kamala Harris in the sense that they both have this tendency to attach themselves to whatever seems to be making the most waves with their base at that particular moment. You dig what I'm saying? They don't really have any, aside from, some core beliefs, aside from, in Kamala's case, some core, social democrat. I don't even know if I would call her social democrat, but some core third way Democrat beliefs. And as far as Trump, some core, neoconservative. Matter of fact, go ahead and say not fascist beliefs. Outside of core beliefs, they don't really have any real stances on anything besides what the peanut gallery is feeling the most at that given time. And I shout out to Color Mind. Color Mind had brought this point up when we were on stream together, is that he doesn't believe, and now I don't believe, that the Republicans really anticipated winning the White House. You dig what I'm saying? Because now all of the BS that they have been building up to, you feel me, while Trump was in office, and even while Biden was in office, all of the BS that they were building up to, you feel me, is coming to a head. Let me fix this. It's coming to a head now. And their anticipation, what Tayo was saying, was that the Democrats would be the scapegoat to point at and say, this is all because of them. Because, Americans are willfully ignorant and don't take into consideration the fact that it takes about 4 years for policy to really go into effect like that. So now they're sitting here holding their own wastebasket. You feel me? And the only course of action is, full steam ahead. Now, you dig what I'm saying? We in here now, we might as well just go ahead. And so now a lot of those folk are seeing the BS. You feel me? That's been behind all of this, whatever, right? And I think that Trump has his back against a wall to an extent. And so he's just trying to attach himself to whoever and whatever, because, the hardcore, the diehard, I'll put it like this. Trump is not the biggest MAGA idiot. If you want to talk about the real extremely like the real dumb mofos, that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. You dig what I'm saying? Those people are not rocking with Trump like they once were. You feel me? The dumbest of the dummies are not rocking with Trump like that no more. So that puts a fissure in his base. A lot of, at least Mamdani's rhetoric, does resonate with working class folk, regardless of if you Republican, Democrat, or something else. a lot of his rhetoric resonates with working class folk, especially in the times that we live in now. And so Trump sees that and he says, all right, let me try to ride this wave. You feel me? Let me try to, get some brownie points by, standing next to the guy that, is the top of the pops for the time being. And this really gets me into what I really wanted to talk about with this, is that I see a lot of people, have these takes about Mamdani. And I was telling somebody is that it's really disturbing to me how much, and due to no fault of his own, let me put that out there right now. Due to no fault of his own, right? I've said in the past that I see a lot of similarities between Mamdani mania and Obama's first campaign. The big difference, I think, is that Obama consciously and purposefully, took advantage of the cult of personality that formed around him. I think that was a conscious decision by him and by his camp to continuously, echo the rhetoric of the civil rights movement, echo the rhetoric of black radicalism, despite the fact that he wasn't all that radical. You know what I mean? He never was. If you actually looked past what he was saying and actually looked at his actual stances on stuff, he was never really on that type of time. Mamdani, on the other hand, there is definitely a cult of personality that has formed around him, but I don't think that it's of any doing of his own. And it's disturbing to me. Again, shout out to Tayo, but Tayo put it excellently when he said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines of, it's disturbing the number of socialists, you feel me, who are so invested into electoralism that they wind up falling down the rabbit hole. They basically, and this is the one part I'll disagree with him on, is that, he made the point that, so many so-called socialists are so invested into electoralism that they wind up becoming liberals in the process and say, oh, well, if you have a better idea, then why don't you get elected? When it's like, nigga, that's the problem right there. You feel me? Electoralism, and I keep saying this, there's nothing inherently wrong with electoralism, in my opinion, but it does become a problem when you think that electoralism is the end-all be-all of your political action, or you feel me, is the only thing within your power to do. That's the beginning, you feel me, of your civic engagement, is voting. You dig what I'm saying? As I said in the other video, you casted your vote. All right, now is when the hard work begins. And I don't want to get too much into it because I got another video coming on the main channel toward the end of the month that gets a little bit deeper into why I think it is that people are so, invested into electoralism as the means of creating change. So I don't want to get too much into that. But the fact that people are so invested into electoralism, are so invested, and this is where I disagree with Tayo on, is that I think a big part of it is that a lot of these so-called socialists, a lot of these so-called leftists ain't really as leftist. And I say this all the time, right? Most leftists aren't actually leftists. You know what I mean? They're just capitalists. They're just liberals who have become disillusioned with liberalism because they are not reaping the benefits of the system. You know what I mean? But the moment that their interests are fulfilled, they're just people who are dissatisfied with the fact that they have been denied the full access to privilege that liberalism promises. So now they see leftism as a means to achieve leftism, as a means rather to access that privilege. You feel me? But the moment that it appears that they are on, and again, history tells us this, is that the moment that those folk, as soon as there's a glimmer of hope that we're making a move toward accessing that privilege, they fall right back into liberalism. They fall right back into, relying upon, waiting on Superman. Oh, well, this one is going to save us. That one is going to save us. These people over here are going to do all of the hard work. And when you start poking holes in that, or when the people themselves start backtracking on certain things, which you got to expect because they're politicians after all, then they start coping. You feel me? And the thing that disturbs me is that you see these people, reading all of this weird stuff, projecting all of these ideas, all of these thoughts onto, Mamdani based off of, a photo. You feel me? They Mamdani is pimping out Trump. Oh, Mamdani is it's maxed his charisma stat, or Mamdani is risen this, and it's like, really? And this is a conversation I had with somebody, and the thing that was really concerning to me, and it gets into another conversation about, and I talk about this all the time, about how we don't. Mamdani looked uncomfortable. Mamdani, he looked like somebody who was in a room. You ever seen somebody that was in a room with you ever He looked uncomfortable is what I'm saying. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world besides that room. And not because, he wanted to punch Trump in the face or whatever other BS y'all was coming up with, but simply because of the fact that he had the face of somebody that was in danger. You know what I mean? And I don't think that for men or for male presenting people that we pick up on that we read that well enough, especially if you are not male presenting yourself. You dig what I'm saying? There's certain body language that we have that is not necessarily overt, because again, as a man, you are put in this position where you have to keep up appearances. You have to not project weakness. And that's what I believe that he was doing, was that he was doing his best to not project weakness in a space with somebody that he believes is a danger to his well-being. You understand what I'm saying? But folk didn't read that, again, because of this cult of personality that has formed around him that is saying that, oh, this man is going to be our savior. Mind you, this nigga is going to be the mayor of one city. You know what I mean? Again, that still throws me. It's the biggest city in America, one of the biggest in the world, perhaps arguably the economic, the financial center of the world, but it's still the mayor of one city. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to get my thoughts off about that, is that, this Mamdani mania thing, man, it hasn't stopped. It's going to a really weird place for me now. And it's becoming really uncomfortable for me to witness and to watch for a variety of different reasons. But one of those reasons, like I said, is because I think that people are so invested in electoralism that, the one of the unspoken things about a cult of personality is that it robs the object of that cult. It robs them of humanity. I feel like it robs them of agency. You feel me? And I feel like I can already see where this is going. Same way that it did with Obama, is that there's going to come a point where folk, because Obama was not what they talked themselves into believing he was, you had a bunch of people who then overcorrected for Obama and said, oh, Obama ain't this, Obama ain't that. Because listen, at the end of the day, policy or overcorrected for AOC. You understand what I'm saying? Or for Bernie. Dig what I'm saying? And rob these people of humanity, rob them of their autonomy, because, you feel me, we are too lazy. You feel me? We are too invested in this current system to do, you feel me, to save ourselves. You dig? So that's all I wanted to get at with y'all today. So yeah, God bless. Deuces.